Shape blocks on Squarespace are fantastic, and there are a lot of great use cases for it when it comes to building your Squarespace website. And in this video right here, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the Squarespace Shape Block, and I'm also going to show you a very interesting and cool way that you can take your website to the next level by using the Squarespace Shape Block. So let's get into the video. At Squarespace, the Shape Block is the block that is located right here. It's looking like this. So let's get this shape block added in, and you can see that by standard, it's white, mine is white, yours can probably be another color. It follows the color palette that you have decided on your Squarespace website. So first of all, the most important thing that we have is the edit function for the shape block. First of all, you have the possibility to choose between a couple of different shapes. You have the standard square, the circle, the triangle, and many, many, many more. For this video right here, I think I'm going to let's go for this one right here as a shape block. Let's double click it again. You can see, first of all, here you have the possibility to stretch it. And when I toggle that off, you can see that what it means with stretch is it going to stretch with the whole blocks. If I wanted this to look a little bit better, I had to make it a little bit bigger, but you can, of course, not stretch it and it's going to look correct. That is also very good for circles. And when you, for example, add a circle in the first time, it's going to look a little bit cranky, but please just note that if you turn off the stretch, it's going to look a lot better. Then you have the coloring for the styling. First of all, you can choose between the color palette that you have on your Squarespace website. So you can see that I like a lot of green and dark colors. So you can see I have that, but you also have the possibility to define your own color. So let's go for a red color here, for example. You can see that you have that possibility as well, and that you can do with RGB, hex, and HSL as well. You can also add sort of like a transparency on it as well. If you drag this a little bit down, you will see that it's more transparent to the background. So let's just keep that as it is. Then you have something called blend mode, and it's basically like a styling as well. I would encourage you to maybe try this out yourself, see if any of these works well on your design. I usually don't use it that much, but I have used it sometimes in the past, but you should have a look into what that can do with your shape block as well. Then we have the stroke, and that is basically what it means. It adds a stroke around the shape. It's well used, for example, if you want the shape to be bigger, or if you want to have an outline of the shape as well to make it even cooler or different in that way. We can choose between this one and also the small dots or the small lines. I'm just going to keep it like this. And again, here you can also choose between the coloring. If you want that to be, let's say, for example, another red, you can do it. Or for example, in a color like that, that's also possible. And then you have the possibility to choose between the thickness of it, the dash, and also the gap between the dash as well. You don't get those options on this, there you only get the thickness, but for the dashes, you get those as well. And then you can choose between the end caps if you want to have them square or round. I'm going to keep them round. Again, you can also add something called a drop shadow, which is basically like a shadow behind the shape block. I realized that on this shape block right here, it doesn't really work that well. So I'm going to delete that and just add a normal square so you can see how that looks. Let's add in the shape block. Let's go down here, add a drop shadow, and you can see that it gets sort of like a little shadow there. And you can also play around with that in order to make them pop a little bit more. And it's also a great tool. And I've used that a lot throughout my web design career on Squarespace. And again, you can also choose between the coloring there. That is also site-wide or with your own color palette. So you have a lot of options when it comes to styling it. And then you can also set on a blur on it if you want the lines to be blur around it as well as a possibility. But I'm just going to turn all of that off. And then you can also see here, for example, if you want a square and you want the corners to be round, you can specify this here. So for example, I like to do 10. Personally, that is what I do with a lot of my branding, but you can go about how much as you want with adding those lines around it. And personally, I really do like having round corners about everything. I think it looks a lot cleaner, but that's just what I think about it. So that is sort of like the basics of the shape block. You have a lot of possibilities to design it and also style it. And it's very useful for example, making different elements on your Squarespace website. I also said in the beginning of the video that I would show you a use case for the shape block that is sort of like maybe not what you think of, and also a use case that I use it for a lot of things. So what I'm going to do is going to use the shape block to sort of like get an image overlapping two sections. So from green to white. So I'm going to show you how you can do that with a shape block. So first of all, what we want to be doing is adding a section under here. We can just add this as a blank section for now. And what I want to do is I want to have an image that sort of goes over these two here, so it fits a little bit more and looks a little bit more interesting. So what I would do then firstly is coming in here and adding an image block, because we want that image to go over these two sections. Then I would head into edit section, turn off fill screen, so it sort of like fits like that. From here, I would then add my shape block, not a line block, sorry. Here it is, the shape block, over like this, and then bring this image to the front. Let's add in an image here. Let's choose this image right here, for example. Make it a little bit bigger, and you can see right now we have sort of like an image that goes over two different sections using a Squarespace shape block. It's not that it goes over two different sections, but using the shape block, it looks like it does. So that was just a very simple tutorial, basically taking you through all of the different edit options that you have on the Squarespace Shape Block. You can use this for so many things, and it's also possible to add even custom code to it if you want to make it even more interactive, or if you want to do any other changes to it, you have that possibility, but I will show you that in a later video. But again, this was basically everything you need to know about the Squarespace Shape Block. I encourage you to try it out yourself and see how you like it, and also drop in the comments below what's your favorite use case for the Squarespace Shape Blocks. There are thousands of ways in which you can use it. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want me to build your Squarespace website, the links are down below. And as always, have a great day.